Hello, children. In the third part of our discussion, we are taking up two topics. The first one is one person, one vote. You know, democracy is based on universal adult franchise. That means each and every adult citizen of a country after a particular age has the right to vote. No discrimination is done in giving the people the right to vote. This is called Universal Adult Franchise UAF. This is the principle which is followed by many democracies all over the world. This is what something widely accepted, and this is called political equality. What is it called? Political equality. So, the principle of political democracy makes a democratic government a widely accepted system of government. Now, let's see two countries where this one person, one vote, that is, the political equality is not applied, is not followed. First one is an East European country, that is Estonia. It is a neighboring country of Russia. Estonia, you must have heard the name, it's a very small country. Over there we find Russians are there in minority. Who are there in that country? Russians are there, but they are in minority. Some 3.5 lakh Russians are living in Estonia. Then what is the problem there for the Russians, those who are in minority? For the Russians to get the voting right is very, very difficult, because Estonia's rules of citizenship are so complex that they really find it difficult to get voting right for themselves. It's very, very difficult for them to get voting rights. I'm talking about the Russian people, those who are in minority in Estonia. That means over there political equality is not maintained. That is, one person, one vote and one value. Right? Now, Fiji. You may have heard the name of this small island nation. It's an island that it's an island country which contains about 350 small islands in the Pacific Ocean, South Pacific Ocean, its location. It's an archipelago, and its location you can understand better, which is some 1700 kilometer north of New Zealand. North of New Zealand. So this country, an island nation, Fiji, it has some 38% Indians. Right? What percentage of people? Those who are Indians, 38%. The other people are indigenous Fijians. You will be surprised to note the value of a vote of a native Fijian is more than that of an Indian Fijian. Isn't it unfortunate that over there in a democratic country, those who are not indigenous people, those who have come from outside but have adopted citizenship of that country, the value of their vote is not equal to that of an indigenous citizen, which is happening in Fiji. That means the value of a vote of a indigenous Fijian is more than that of an Indian Fijian. So in these countries, at least we can say the principle of political equality doesn't apply. It is not at all working over there. So in this way we can come to the third feature of democracy, which says that in a democracy each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have one value. Is it there in these two countries? Your book contains, this chapter contains another name, that is Saudi Arabia. But the mention of Saudi Arabia should not be there right now in your chapter. Reason, over there it was given the women in Saudi Arabia do not have the right to vote. It is wrong, because in December 2015 municipal elections were there in that country, Saudi Arabia, in which the women were allowed to vote. I repeat, in Saudi Arabia the women were allowed to vote and even contest elections in the municipal elections that took place in December 2015. Hence, we can say that this part, Saudi Arabia, should not have been a part of this discussion. That's why I deleted from my discussion. That's why these two countries, Estonia and Fiji, not Saudi Arabia. Right? Then coming to rule of law and respect for rights. This is another topic that I am taking up in this part. You know the name of Zimbabwe? It's a cricket playing nation, yes or no? From Africa. Okay, it's a southern African country. It got its independence from white minority rule, that is British rule, in 1980. In which year did it get its freedom? In 1980. There is a political party named ZANU PF. Z, the Zimbabwe; A, African; N, national; U, union; P, patriotic; F, front. That is ZANU PF for short. Expanded form is the Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front. This party played a prominent role in achieving independence for the country. Its leader was Robert Mugabe. After the independence of the country, elections have been conducted regularly from 1982. November 2017, only one party, that is ZANU PF, always came to power. There are other political parties, they never managed to come to power. Where? In Zimbabwe. So from 1980 to 2017, Robert Mugabe of the party ZANU PF always became the president after each and every election. Then, shouldn't we know what made ZANU PF come to power again and again? There must have been some unfair practices. Shouldn't we discuss the unfair practices which made the party come to power again and again? Yes, let's see. First of all, the constitution of Zimbabwe was amended, changed several times to make the president more and more powerful and less accountable to people. Right? When it came to accountability, it was less on the part of the president. But he was made more powerful after each and every amendment done to the constitution of Zimbabwe. Number two, opposition party workers, they were harassed. Whenever they held, opposition party workers held meetings, their party meetings were disrupted by the activists, the members of the ZANU PF party. Number three, public protests and demonstrations against the government, these were declared illegal. Have you ever heard this type of things in India, that protests by the people declared illegal? demonstrations the people are not allowed to do, because we are in a good democracy, and hence these are a part of democracy, public protests and demonstrations. But in Zimbabwe they were declared illegal. A law was made that restricted the criticism of the president. But president could not be criticized, the law said. Next, TV and radio showed what the ZANU PF said and did, what the party did, what the party said. The party's version was given to the people because they were controlled by the state, means by the government. Another unfair practice. Government harassed the reporters of independent newspapers. Means, of course, some newspapers were independent, they were allowed to work independently, but the journalists or the reporters of these independent newspapers were harassed from time to time. Last but not least, ZANU PF government ignored some court judgments and even pressurized the judges. The party's government pressurized some of the judges to give judgment in favor of government. This you may not have heard in a country like India, that court gives a verdict and the government ignores. That never happens. That has never happened in a country like India, in a democratic country like India. But that was happening from 1980 to 2017 in Zimbabwe. So, in case of Zimbabwe, we see here when it was under Robert Mugabe, it shows that number one, elected governments can be undemocratic. We can get this idea from the case of Zimbabwe. Yes or no? We shouldn't always think that elected governments cannot be undemocratic. It was a democratically elected government, but it behaved like an undemocratic government. Yes or no? Then, second thing, popular leaders can be autocratic also. You cannot say that the leaders, those who are very popular, they cannot be autocratic. They can be. This is one example. I mean Robert Mugabe. Then number three, popularly elected governments can limit the constitutional rights of people. Yes or no? Yes, in case of Zimbabwe, we saw it. A democratic government which limited the constitutional rights of people of that country. Protests, demonstrations, dharnas, rallies, they were declared illegal in that country. This should not have been the case in that country. Yes or no? Next thing we can find, such governments may not follow the constitution to govern people. Yes, in Zimbabwe, the constitutional provisions were not followed. Again and again, the constitution of the country was amended to govern the people. That should not have happened. Whenever bare necessity is there, constitution can be amended. In our country, constitution is also amended, but unlike what happened in Zimbabwe. Another thing we can find here, every major governmental decision may not go through a series of consultations. In Zimbabwe, it didn't happen. Consultations were not there for taking a major decision by the government of Zimbabwe. But in a democratic country, it must happen. Consultations with so many people, this happens. Hence, we come on to the fourth and final feature of democracy, which says, a democratic government rules within limits set by constitutional law and citizens' rights. People's rights must be respected. The provisions in the constitution must be respected by the government. Whatever limits have been put on the government for governance, those limits must be followed. That means the government must work within the limits set by the constitutional rules, which did not happen in case of Zimbabwe under Robert Mugabe from 1980 to 2017. Then summary definition. For summary definition, you can see the simple definition part that I discussed in the first part of discussion and 4 other features that I discussed in the last 2 sessions. Thank you.